watching IGN Live. We're about to get into a game that I'm a big fan of. Grounded 2 is the biggest little game you can play right now. Here to tell us about some of the coolest new additions coming to Grounded 2, please welcome game director Chris Parker and executive producer Marcus Morgan. Now, we have so many questions for them, but before we get into those questions, I believe you have an extended version of your recent trailer that was in the summer update, so we're gonna take a look at that first.
Welcome to Brook Hollow Park.
It's okay, they're not actually monsters. We're just a lot smaller now.
Clever girl.
You're looking at a living fossil.
Hey guys, you're gonna wanna see this!
Please tell me that was your stomach.
Hold on to your buggies for a survival epic 65 millimeters in the making.
What the hell did we get ourselves into?
All right, so Grounded 2, it's been playable for a while, but of course you're dropping a lot of new content, getting player feedback and all that. So I want to talk about some of the new content that's coming to it. So new areas like the pond, the mountain, the bayou are being added to early access, but let's talk about the pond specifically, in particular. Why is that such a big deal?
Well, I think that the pond is central to the entire park experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's right in the middle of the pond. And it also gives us some opportunity to do some gameplay that's a little bit different than what you see in most of the rest of Grounded. Even though it respects all the same gameplay loops and the survival and the horror, it gives you an opportunity to do something a little bit different that's really cool. And so with this update, Into the Abyss, we have 3 different biomes, a big mountain, which is full of nooks and crannies and cool places to explore, a cool, like, sort of toxic bayou on the other side, and then the pond. But those other areas are all doing service to your ultimate adventure into that pond and into the abyss.
Okay.
Yeah, when you go into the pond, Grounded's always about the wonder of being small. And each new area we bring, it creates this fantasy that's so different that you're not just underwater, but you're underwater and you're the size of an ant. So everything becomes larger than life and greater than ever. The coolest part that I'm excited about, though, for the pond and why we even built Grounded 2 in the beginning is all around buggies. And the pond's also going to introduce our first amphibious buggy, which is our mount, and it's a toe biter buggy. So you'll be able to crawl on land and then dive straight into water, and that changes the way kind of the buggy systems work and the way that game will play overall.
Sure, yeah, it's like the environment is informing the things you can do with gameplay, and that's one of the things I love about Grounded. Like you said, feeling small. And like you think of like these objects that you don't mean much or don't mean much, like empty soda cans, whatever, they're huge. It's just like this whimsical vibe that I really like. Now, I saw this term pop up, and it gave us a very special kind of anxiety, I guess. What can you tell us about the toe biter? What is that?
It's pretty horrific, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I encourage everybody to go look up a picture of this thing on the internet because this is terrifying. But so it's a very large bug that lives in like swamps and marshes. And this was a perfect add to our pond experience because even though it's about yay big in real life, that is horrendously huge when you're the size of an ant. And so we took that, and like Marcus said, not only can you turn that into one of your buggies that you can ride around on, it also makes for a really great boss monster. So I think people will be appropriately horrified of this as they're running around in the game.
What do you got, Marcus?
The toe biter is our deep sea Cthulhu kind of Leviathan. Like, that is what it's gonna be. That menace that you see kind of at the end of the trailer falling behind you. Yeah, we hope we create terror with that one.
Oh man, yeah, it seems like Grounded is also a creative playground for you to have those kinds of ideas. And I think that adds to the whimsy that a lot of us like about the series. But now that Grounded 2 has been in players' hands through early access, what has surprised the team the most about the reception that after how people are playing the game and sort of what they're responding to, and how are you taking some of that feedback as well?
The community for Grounded 2, number one, is awesome. And we take every single piece of feedback that they send us, we process that, we figure out how many people are agreeing with it, not agreeing with it, like really try and analyze all of that. And that informs how we move almost everything forward. So in some cases, we go back and we revise features or we modify them. Sometimes we make wholesale changes based on community feedback. Sometimes we figure out that these bosses that we thought were like, oh man, this is super hard. Yeah, they're really gonna have a tough time with this, you know, and one day after it's released, people are killing it with the pebble spear naked.
Yeah.
You know, so like we look at those kinds of things too and say like, okay, how can we balance this, make it fun for everybody, but also provide that challenge for those core players? So it's really about looking at everything and just trying to figure out where we can find time in our schedules and when we're making all of this content like you see for the Abyss, and just trying to respond to that stuff and make the community happy.
I guess shouldn't be a surprise, but you know, so many people loved Grounded 1, and we did tried really hard to do a great job with how we did early access, how we approached community development. And I think as we went into Grounded 2, I was really nervous about us like holding to that trust that we built with the community. And I think the part that's really dope for me is just how much that community has continued to thrive in such a positive way, not like a toxic positivity way, but like just in a everyone's in it together. We're trying to build this awesome experience. Right? Yeah, there's something just maybe nostalgic about that of just gaming with your friends, and we're all kind of collabing on building this. Yeah. And I think that's been, you know, maybe not a surprise, but maybe a pleasant surprise of just seeing that community grow and maintain just like what we were hoping for, which is just a nostalgic adventure with your friends, like that, and that's the vibe we want to always have with the community.
So there's a mix between like telemetrics, where you get into the nitty gritty of like how players are interacting with very specific things, but then you also got vibes. You can just go off of vibes, right? What's the community saying? What are they saying on social media? And it's just like it's nice to get a little bit of both, and I think that's like the path to success, 100%. Right? So like. With that, that's kind of what informs updates. And when planning a major update like this, like the summer update you have here, how do you decide between adding brand new content versus refining player systems? Like, do you have the capacity to do both? Do you have to lean into one or the other? Or is it things like telemetrics and vibes that you have to go off of it? Like, what do you invest in when you do a major update like this?
Man, it's a process, right? Like, sure, so, you know, you've got so much time, you have 1 million ideas of cool things that you want to do, but there are things that like, so in this update coming up, we're finally adding zip lines back into the game, which the community has been like, give us back our zip lines, you know, since the end of Grounded 1. So there are things like that where we're still sort of updating Grounded 2 to have all the cool things that Grounded 1 had. But then we also want brand new content. We want new creatures. We want new experiences for the player. Yeah, you want it all. So it kind of becomes this big tug of war. We have a lot of conversations where we get together, you know, our partner, IDOS Montreal, we'll get together with them and just kind of like hammer out, like, what is the best possible thing that we can do with the time that we have for this update?
Yeah.
And sometimes those conversations take a little while, and sometimes they can be a little tough. But at the end, like, the stuff that we're making, particularly in this update, I think is outstanding. It's amazing. It's going to be fun, and I don't know. We just kind of work our way there.
Yeah, when we're thinking about kind of the balance between, you know, tweaking and refining the current game, right? It's in early access, so we're always trying to do performance improvements, you know, graphical improvements, all that sort of thing. We do kind of split our minds up in it, and we've actually evolved the way we deliver content in our early access roadmap to split up into content updates and feature updates.
Yes.
Those content updates tend to be things like Into the Abyss, where we do big biome expansions, new buggies, that type of thing. Our feature updates are more like our most recent update, which was the Beat the Heat update, where we introduced King Dozer, which is a giant lizard boss. Yeah. And there we'll try to input a little bit more of those like performance optimizations, tweaking certain elements of the game. So it's always a little bit of both, but we do try to like separate them in our minds too. Yeah. And also just so all of our players know, hey, when are we doing certain things, we try to separate our updates in that way too, just to make that more clear as well.
Yeah, and along with that, not to like remind you that you have so much work on your plate, but we also saw that Grounded 2 is coming to PS5 in early access, summer update. So you get to play on another platform as well. And like, I know that porting takes time. That's a lot of effort that goes into that. But given that Grounded 1 didn't hit PS5 until after the 1.0 release of that game, what specific challenges come with introducing this game to new platforms this early in the process? Like you said, you have so many ideas, updates, and that, and then now you got to port it over to another platform. There's a lot of moving parts. So what's that like?
I mean, I think mainly there are always a lot of challenges when you expand to new platforms, but I think I'm more excited about what it means for PlayStation fans just to bring those folks in. The number one thing we get, anytime we post any content, it's like, when was it coming to PlayStation? When was it coming to PlayStation? When was it coming to PlayStation? So I think for me, early access games are still relatively new to the PlayStation audience, so making sure that folks understand and are bought into that process of like how to engage with us on Discord, how to give feedback across an early access game, that kind of comes to mind. But in terms of the work itself, that part is less worrisome to me as much as it is of just making sure PlayStation fans are cool with an early access experience. Like, again, just kind of introduce and kind of spearheading that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't want to understate the challenges with making a port, because there's a lot involved in that, and there's a lot of like technical lifts that you have to do to make that work. But that's a really like a known challenge. It's understandable. It's stuff that we've sort of tackled before. So for us, it was something that made sense. And it's like, okay, this is the timeline where it makes sense. How do we get that PlayStation community into the Grounded community so that they can actually help us make a better game?
Yeah. So like now you got like multiple pipelines, and they're both going to be same version for both. So regardless of what platform you're playing, everyone's going to be able to play the same version of the game as well.
Yeah, everybody's playing the same build, and crossplay is incredibly important for us. And so, right now, if you were to go get Grounded on Xbox Series SX, Steam, Windows Store, your Steam Deck, all of those all cross-play together, and they all cross-progress together. And making PlayStation part of that, always been our plan, and absolutely going to be there from day one.
For sure, yeah. I know a lot of players like to maybe play on the go, like jump on their Steam Deck, and the cross-progression is huge, so as long as you log into your account, you can kind of keep that going, whether you want to play on PlayStation, Xbox, wherever.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, Chris and Marcus, thank you so much for joining us. That's Grounded 2.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You can check out Grounded 2 right now in early access on Xbox Series X and S and PC, and it's coming to PS5, so you can check out more at IGN Live. But coming right up after this, we have so much more, so stick around whether you're here or watching online.
IGN Live is presented by our official retail partner, Best Buy.